Hyperboost servers are releasing to Throne Liberty tomorrow. It's perfect time for new players to get into the game, but also for established players to catch up. Now, it is extremely important when you guys start the Hyperboost server to make a bunch of Lucent, because Lucent is how you earn gear, buy gear, upgrade gear. Basically, everything you do in the game, it requires almost Lucent. So it's going to be extremely important that you guys pay attention in the video. There's a reason why Hyperboost servers haven't been out since the game released, because they don't like the Hyperboost servers because of this Lucent money making reason. They did have Hyperboost servers back in Korea, but they completely stopped with it because the only way AGS and NCSoft can make money in this game is by forcing people to purchase Lucent so they can spend in the game. But with this trick, you guys will be able to gain a bunch of Lucent, both if you're an established player, but also if you're a brand new player. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to explain absolutely everything. I don't gatekeep. The best thing to do is gatekeep this information because I can earn a bunch more Lucent, but I'm going to tell everybody how to do it, and hopefully everybody can make some Lucent. So let's just jump into it. Now, let's start with the information for already established players. Now, there's a reason why you can only have 2 characters on your account. AGS did this on purpose because it is to stop you from making a lot of Lucent. So if you guys see here, it says 1 out of 2, and tomorrow when a Hyperboost server comes out, I'm going to create a brand new character and I'm going to join a Hyperboost server on a brand new character. And why am I going to do that when I already have an established character here? It is to make Lucent, because Lucent, the currency, is account wide. So everything I make on my main character is also transferred to my alt character and vice versa. So let's say I have 4K Lucent right now on my main. When I log my alt, I also have 4K Lucent on the alt, and everything I earn there will go to my main character. And a lot of stuff in this game is time gated, which means my dungeons contract tokens, they come every single day. So eventually you will run out of stuff to do on your main to make money. So if you can't run the dungeons, the new dungeons, you're kind of stuck with not being able to earn any type of Lucent, and there's only a certain amount of currency that you guys can get, which is like your extraction stones that you can buy weekly, and ways to obtain them. That basically stops you from making Lucent. But if you have 2 characters, right, you can get double the amount of dimensional contract tokens and make double the amount of Lucent if you're playing on both your characters. And this is why a lot of players that played before and played in Korea will be doing this. Some people already have had 2 characters, but they actually deleted one of their characters so they can start a brand new character. Because the Hyperboost servers, you have to remember, the Hyperboost servers will not be cross-server. This auction house right here is cross-server between the old servers. The Hyperboost server will have a fresh auction house with none of these items in there, which means the economy will be really good early on. So you can make insane amount of money pretty quick. So the idea is that when you make a character, you want to be leveling it up to 55. You want to make sure that you're doing your contracts and stuff every single week. And at start, it will take a little bit of time investment. But eventually, when you actually get level 55 and you do the catch-up mechanics, it will help you get to high enough gear score to start running new dungeons. The 4-star dungeons, you can actually stop dropping and running to 4-star dungeons and stop getting the currency or the loot to start selling in the auction house. And you'll make an insane amount of Lucent. So your alt account will only be used to get to max level and start getting materials and start running those dungeons. You don't have to worry about leveling up, like your weapon master is super high. You just need a threshold because your main focus should still be on your main account. So that way, every time you're time gated, you just finish your dailies on your main, and then you log your alt, finish your daily, sell everything, and every Lucent goes to your main account. And it's going to be extremely good for you because the Lucent gain is going to probably be very high, absolutely fresh servers, because people will be needing absolutely everything, especially the tier 3 gear. Now you can still do this the other way. If you already have an established character and you want to start completely fresh, you can do it also on this server because people will be buying tier 3 gear and stuff, but it's a little bit harder and the economy isn't that good. That it is a way to make money. Now, if you're completely a brand new player, what you also can do is you can do the exact same thing. If you go to your select character, right? You can make 2 brand new characters, both on Hyperboost servers. There's going to be 2 Hyperboost servers It doesn't matter which server you go to. You can either have your main and alt on the same server or on the separate server. It doesn't matter because the Lucent is still cross. If you have no characters, you make 2 characters. One is going to be your main, which you're basically going to focus on getting main resources and saving everything, while on the other, you're going to be selling absolutely everything you get from raids and dungeons. So this is going to be an insane way, and it's going to require a little bit of time, but it's going to be really good for at least a couple of weeks. A lot of people did this when Talandra released. They had 2 characters ready so they can make a bunch of Lucent, so they could get more tier 3 gear, and then eventually they'll just stop playing on the other account. Now, a huge tip from me: if you guys want to make insane amount of Lucent, you will do this, but you will make sure that your second character, your alt, is kinda kept up. When I say kept up, is you want to make sure that it has enough gear score to enter the raid, because and that is going to be 6,000 gear score. Because the reason why is the raid in Hyperboost servers, this raid right here, it will unlock after 3 weeks to 1 month. So that basically means if you have an alt, you're making money on your tier 3 gear early on. From week 2 to 4, the prices are going to drop and you're not going to be able to sell and make a lot of money. However, if you make sure that your character is geared up enough and the raid unlocks after 4 weeks, you're going to be able to get heroic weapons. And in Hyperboost servers, this is going to be completely fresh. Now, these prices have dropped by a lot, but back then they used to be 1,000 per trade up to 5,000 per trade. And I'm guessing it's going to be very similar in the Hyperboost. When the heroic raid opens up, you want to have 2 characters. Either if you're on the Hyperboost server, you have 2 brand new Hyperboost characters to make insane amount of Lucent, or you have an extra character. That way the raids are weekly loot. So you can only run this 1 time a week. And if you get lucky, you get a good weapon and stuff, you can sell for 2 to 3k Lucent. And you only have to log it every single week to do this raid after the 4 weeks, because it's only weekly, right? So it's not going to require you a lot of effort or anything at all, or a lot of time. And you guys know it's very easy to actually run these dungeons too, especially the normal one, because you get an X10 buff. You can also do it hard, difficult mode, if you have like a static. If you have friends, let's say you're playing in a guild, and your guildmates are doing the exact same thing, you can team up and just do the raid together and make a bunch of Lucent. So it's going to be extremely good. The last thing I want to talk about is something called GreatSuccess. A lot of people usually forget this if you're playing, but if you're brand new, this is going to be important to know. If you go to your crafting, this menu will be different, by the way, once you guys start playing the game, because, you know, I'm still on the old patch. But if you go to your crafting, this is going to be important. When you guys craft something, a special weapon or anything, or gear pieces, you can have a chance to get GreatSuccess. Now, you should be doing this if you have the materials on your alt, because this is going to require some materials, of course, and a recipe. So what a lot of players do when they drop a gear piece, which is worth a lot of money. So if you go to the auction house right now, we can check, let's see here. We'll look at some gear. It's going to be, the prices are pretty low, but let's look at, for example, Void Stalker mask right here, okay? Void Stalker mask goes for 1,200. If you search for the lithograph of it, here we go, Void Stalker mask. The Void Stalker mask lithographs for 100 Lucent. Now, what many people or whales do is they usually don't buy the lithograph, because if you want to get the Void Stalker mask, what you usually do is you will buy the recipe for it, like this, for 94 Lucent. And then you will go to your craft, right? And then you will basically craft the Void Stalker mask. Let's see if we can find it right here with these materials. But sometimes whales, they don't even like to use materials, because in their opinion, it's not worth it. And then you have to use extra materials if you roll a bad trait on it. So what they will do is they will just straight up buy the item from the auction house. But the only way to get this, and like, let's say this is a good stat, right? They want to waste materials buying, so just straight up buy this and we'll get cooldown speed. And this is massive. And the only way to get the full gear piece is either it gets really lucky in Nebula chest, but by hitting GreatSuccess. So if you hit GreatSuccess on something on your alt, you can make a bunch of Lucent instead of just making a lithograph. So here what some people did with the Talandra update, for example, is let me just use some random stuff. For example, let's say this is worth really good money. They drop this. Now instead of making it into a lithograph like this and selling the lithograph, they will make it into a lithograph and try to get great success and then sell it to make a bunch of Lucent. And certain items, guys, certain items are going to be worth tier 3 items, if you get lucky, are going to be worth up to, either the lithograph will be 2k, 3k Lucent, while the item itself will be like 10 or 15k. So you can make insane amount of money if you do get lucky, though, on the Great Success. So don't do it on your main. What I also advise people to do is usually do it on an item that you're actually going to wear yourself. So let's say you are going to, let's say I'm going to get, I want the Vanguard chest piece, right? I want the Vanguard chest piece. So what I would do is, it's not as difficult as you think. Let's say you want the Vanguard chest piece, right? So what you would do as a player is you would buy this, the lithograph. It's the cheapest way, right? You buy the lithograph. I need this, so I'm going to buy this. And then when I craft it, if I go to the crafter right here, when I craft the Vanguard chest piece, then I have a 20% chance to hit the Great Success. If you get the Great Success here, you sell the chest piece, and then you just buy the recipe again. If you don't hit the Great Success, you can just wear it because you needed it anyways, right? So a lot of people do this instead, is when you just make sure you look at the item. It usually says Great Success, but when you craft an item, check if it's Great Success and sell it. And then just buy the recipe again. But yeah, so main thing is make a second character. If you guys already have a character, I would advise you guys to delete it. Unfortunately, if a character is level 60 or something, it requires like 24 hours before it actually disappears when you delete it. So do it right now. Make sure you have an extra slot. And for people that are mad, or people, Spid, why are you telling people to come Hyperboost and ruin our economy? No, I'm not ruining your economy. I'm actually making it better because there's going to be more gear for you guys to obtain in Hyperboost servers. Okay? More people will play with, more people to run with, and most of these people will disappear. And then when it comes to the Hyperboost servers themselves, you'll be able to play on Hyperboost servers for at least, I think, it's 3 months before you get merged into normal servers. But the main Lucent game will be the first 3 weeks, unless they introduce new tier 3 gear. Which they probably will after a month. So you will be able to make a bunch of Lucent for at least a month until Heroic Raid comes out and the new tier 3 guys comes out. So take advantage of it. If you want to go super hard, what you can also do is you can go and farm Nebula on your alt account too. I wouldn't advise it because it is a lot of effort. But that is it. Give me a thumbs up. Check out this video right here. And I see you guys in Hyperboost server. I am going to Calanthea server EU if you guys want to play with me.